Let's talk about block level elements and what you can do with them. Okay, now some examples of block level elements are things like P for paragraph, all the headings H1 through H6, and div. And the reason these are called block level elements is because when you use them on an HTML page, it appears as if you automatically have a block within your page. It's almost as if there is a virtual box drawn around them, right? So in that context, let's talk about how you can control the background of those block level elements through colors, images, and so on. Now, in this example over here, we're actually controlling the background, trying to control the background of the entire HTML page using all kinds of rules for the body tag, as you can see from lines 10 through 14. And then we're playing around with the paragraph tag from 15 until 18. Okay, and 19 by now should be quite familiar to you. It's a class, it's called dark, and we know it's a class because it begins with a period, and then we say font weight : bold. Going back to the body tag, okay, line number 10. So here we're specifying that we want a background image. Okay, and we're specifying either the URL or the path to it. In this case, it's a local path in the same folder. So URL, and within parentheses, the name of your file. Okay, so here that image appears in the bottom right hand corner. And how does it appear over there? Okay, that's where your background position comes into play. So we've said bottom space right. Okay, when it comes to background position, you can use values such as top, bottom, center, left, right. You can either use them individually or you can use them in combination. Okay, going back again, background repeat. In this case, we say no repeat, so it appears just once. Now, other options when it comes to background repeat are things like no repeat, so basically just once, or you can set it to repeat, where it tiles across the background vertically and horizontally. Okay, and or you can say repeat X or repeat Y. Repeat X is when you want the image only horizontally repeated. Now, I would highly encourage you to try this out because you may need this during the quiz. Okay, and repeat Y is when you want the image to be tiled only vertically. Okay, so that's about background repeat. Background attachment is fixed, so which means that in this case, when you scroll, the background image will not scroll with you, right? So if you want to change that behavior, you would have to change that to scroll, and that's actually the default value, so which means if you do not specify it, it's going to scroll along with the user. Okay, so in this case, we are fixing it to one spot of the page. Then we have background color, and here you can specify a whole bunch of colors, either using RGB codes or in some cases just using even like semantically meaningful words like light gray. Okay, now let's see what we're doing with the paragraph tag. Okay, with P, font size is 18 point, color : dark blue. This makes the background of the entire paragraph dark blue in color. So if you look at this, you have a dark blue background. Okay, then we are indenting the text by 1 EM, and by now you should know what 1 EM is. EM stands for the size of uppercase M, and the font family we want to use is Arial, sans serif. Okay, so these get applied to this over here and to this paragraph and this body here. Now the class that we specified on line number 19 dot dark is being applied to a span, which is on line number 26. So your span class equals dark. Okay, so because of that, detail and associates, just those words are bolded. Okay, now that's regarding the background, controlling the background of these block level elements. Let's talk a little bit more about what else we could be doing with them. right? So let's take a look at the final product that we're trying out. So as you can see over here, it almost looks as if these are pictures, but these are not. These are actually text or paragraphs that have been um, that have been decorated, you can say, using CSS. All right, so how does this work? So here, as you can see, within the body, we have 3 paragraphs: line number 16, line number 21, line number 26. Okay, and for each of those we already have some CSS rules that are inline. So for the paragraph on line 16, it says width is 20%. That's which means the width of that paragraph is 20% of the browser. Okay, the width of the paragraph on 21 is 80% of the browser, and you want the text within that to be aligned to the center. And the paragraph, the last paragraph at the bottom, the width again is back to 20%. And you're also specifying a height to it. So you're specifying a width and a height, and you're specifying in case the text does not fit within that specified width and height, you want scroll bars. So which is why you say overflow : scroll. So the end result of these rules that we just looked at, basically you see the width. In the first case it's 20%, in the third case it's 20%, in the second case it is 80%. The 80% we also centered the text. And how did we do that? We did that by saying line number 21, text align : center. And the last one, we specified the width and the height, line number 26, and we specified overflow to scroll. And that's why we have the scroll bar on the third one. Okay, so besides that, we have some general rules as well. So if you look at lines 10 through 12, for the paragraph, we are specifying a certain background color. We are specifying a certain margin at the bottom, which is why you see a certain space. In this case, it's 0.5 em. So it's half the size of an uppercase M. So that's what we see between these 3 paragraphs. So there's a margin at the bottom, and it also has a background color. That's on line 10. And we're also specifying a font family. So between the rules that are in the head of the document and the rules that we're specifying about the width, the text alignment, the height, overflow, and so on, we get the appearance that looks like this. I would highly recommend that you try these examples out and get them to work.